Rosemary can establish the sun, then she might be in a pretty good position.
All right, here we go. We are seeing it from the point of view of Rosemary here, and we got the Calyrex immediately with that Incineroar, the Gouging Fire. Oh, yes. And, of course, Urshifu coming into play here. Not a bad turn one here with the Dark already in play. Not bad.
Yeah, you know, it looks like Gabby's going for a pretty standard Trick Room setup here with a Fake Out and then a very bulky Trick Room Mon. I think Urshifu is very much in danger of a Fake Out,
yes.
So we can see Rosemary angling for the Protect. What's interesting here is the Gouging Fire does not have the Photosynthesis boost, but now we'll see if it outspeeds the Urshifu, even without that speed boost. If it goes for a Howl, the Urshifu could get a boost in its attack, even despite not moving this turn.
Here comes the Detect out in play. Fake Out going into the slot that we did predict. So now gonna keep that beautiful item intact. Of course, we need that Focus Sash for later. But now, the Howl coming into play too, and raising that attack stat of both these Pokemon. That's a powerful move. But Trick Room! Trick Room coming into the play right now. Oh,
yeah,
no.
Gabby is going to twist the dimensions here and give Calyrex a speed advantage. And now, despite having this really powerful Urshifu boosted it to +1, I think Rosemary's in a little bit of trouble because a double up from this Calyrex and the Incineroar could take that a commission. And even though Gouging Fire is back to neutral after that Howl, I still don't think the Calyrex is in much of a danger from a Flare Blitz. And if it Terra's Fire, as I brought up earlier in the batch preview, then it cares even less about that Flare Blitz.
Yes, that's a very good observation, of course. But are you really going to spend the cash this early on? Especially when you're behind at this point? I don't know. Well, you kind of actually are in the lead because you have Trick Room to play, obviously. But this is tough, but we do see the cash being spent.
There it is.
Terrestrialization into that fire element. Oh, here we go.
All right, we got this Terra Fire Calyrex coming out. Not going to fear much from this Urshifu or the Gouging Fire. Going for high horsepower into the Gouging Fire. That's going to do half of its health. Parting shot into the Urshifu from the Incineroar. It's going to bring the Urshifu's attack back to neutral, which is going to impact the damage of what I'm assuming is a Wicked Blow coming out. Something is going to have to come in and take this hit. We'll see if the Wicked Blow goes into the Calyrex, in which case it'll probably do a little under half the health. Or it's this Pelipper, which is guaranteed to eat a hit, but it would break the Focus Sash. So let's see who this Urshifu targets into.
Okay, Howl again, just getting that boost up, predicting the fact that Parting Shot would be coming into play, and now we got that +1 Wicked Blow. What's it gonna be? Oh, that's after a critical hit, of course. Not enough damage, still looking pretty decent with that green health.
That's as bulky of a Calyrex as I've ever seen, and I think what's important to note from that interaction is we saw the Howl go before the Urshifu under the Trick Room.
Yes.
And so I think what that means is that the Gouging Fire actually gets outsped by the Urshifu if it's not in the sun. I think that means we're looking at a Jolly Urshifu here, given the amount of damage that it did to the Calyrex. Because at a +1 Wicked Blow, I expected that Cal to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think here, that plays in Gabby's favor because the Calyrex can just eat these Wicked Blows and fire back with some hard damage. And Pelipper, of all Pokemon, is also looking to be a pretty serious offensive threat right here.
Going for a small here, not terrible choice because now we can break the Sash and get rid of some of this attacking power.
Ooh, Gouging Fire survives. And the Weather Ball comes out into the Urshifu. That's going to pick up the knockout.
Nice.
That's survival by the Gouging Fire is a really big deal because it means the Calyrex does not get the boost from As-1. It's going to go for a Snarl to break the Sash from Pelipper, but it's going to do negligible damage to both the Pelipper and the Calyrex.
Yeah, getting rid of that Ghost typing is actually looking really like the best play possible here because now we are just still in play after all that beating.
And now, if looking at the Pokemon that Rosemary has in the back here, I see two Pokemon that are weak to Ice moves and one Pokemon that's at 8 HP. So Calyrex Ice under Trick Room is in as good of a position as it can ask for. I think this Raging Bolt's going to have to Terra Water in order to have any sort of hope. And we'll see if it gets any damage off under this Trick Room. We'll also see the speed interaction with Pelipper. It'll be interesting to see which Pokemon is faster under Trick Room. But at this point, I'm not sure Rosemary has the damage necessary to deal with the Pelipper and the Calyrex and the Incin in the back. We still haven't seen a fourth Pokemon. Gabby has this set up pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's a really strong setup right now. And I also wanted to bring up that we didn't beat the Weathers at all, right? That's really interesting because that's why we put that Pelipper in the back, just in case Ruron did come into play. We saw the Pelipper come in, get that nice range setup. It's looking really good for Gabby.
Absolutely, and it's always interesting when you don't bring your restricted in a one restricted meta. That can really just skew the the base stat total and the points available to your team. But I can understand why Rosemary didn't do it. Groudon is going to have a really tough time here. Even if it uses that Terra Fire to avoid the Glacial Lance damage, then it would have to deal with the Pelipper coming in, threatening with Weather Balls, Wide Guard, invalidating Precipice Blades. Groudon just does not like coming to this matchup. So it'll be interesting to see if she can figure out how to overcome that inherent disadvantage of not bringing her restricted Pokemon.
I also think it's really interesting that Gabby made that read and brought in Trick Room for this and used Trick Room. Groudon would be performing pretty decently under a Trick Room right now. But hey, taking a little bit of damage, but still rocking it out. Thunderbolt going into that Calyrex, and it's still on the board.
That is a lot of damage from a Thunderbolt there. This must be a very specially attack-invested Raging Bolt. But the issue is Gabby made a really smart pivot into the Incineroar here. What that does is it applies fake-out pressure, and it means that Rosemary doesn't have much that she can do in the face of this Glacial Lance here. Fake Out can target into the Raging Bolt, and I think Glacial Lance, unless this Rillaboom is trained incredibly physically bulky, is going to have a chance to pick up a KO into that other slot. So I guess we'll see how this Rillaboom is trained, or maybe the Gouging Fire will go for a double protect. But either way, this Calyrex is really making the most out of these Trick Room turns.
Absolutely, and we're still trying to bait out the rate in terms of this Trick Room here. We're trying to get through that. Maybe we'll have a chance if we can survive these next couple of turns, but it's still looking really rough. There goes a protect, trying to delay that inevitable outcome here.
Glacial Lance coming out. That's going to pick up the KO on the Gouging Fire. Gabby making a really nice play, bluffing the fake-out pressure, forcing the Raging Bolt to protect, and in doing so, buys her Calyrex Ice a free turn. Just throw out that Glacial Lance that's going to give it a free +1 boost. This Rillaboom coming out is actually going to do double duty here. As Trick Room ends, Rillaboom is going to find itself in a pretty nice position, all things considered. But I think an Incineroar switch-in for Gabby is pretty likely. And if Calyrex protects itself, we could find Trick Room going right back up again the following turn.
Yes, it's looking pretty tough for Rosemary here, but this is a great opportunity. Take some notes, make some mental adjustments, see what the speeds are, because we have to finish out the game after all, right? And then make that adjustment for the second game. But we're not done yet.
We are certainly not. There's a way that Rosemary could come back and win this. The way that Gabby is playing right now is exceptional. I want to call out that she's really playing a couple turns ahead here. Between bluffing the fake out, switching in the Choice Scarf Mon on the last turn of Trick Room, staggering Calyrex protects accordingly, because if she had protected with the Calyrex the last turn, it wouldn't have had the protect available later on for this turn here. So Gabby is really playing. There's a fake out into the Urshifu. Nice. Well called. Did Rosemary read this and Thunderbolt? She did.
Nice. A big knockout here. We're gonna get rid of this Urshifu. Find some footing in this what looked like a fleeting match.
And as I was complimenting how well Gabby is playing, Rosemary shows how strong of a player she is herself. Just recognizing that Calyrex was likely to go for a protect there. The Urshifu, wasn't really doing much, so she thought that Rosemary would just avoid it, but instead they double target, pick up a KO, and now let's see if there's still enough left in the tank in terms of resources for Rosemary to figure this out.
Absolutely. I gotta say, I love that Rosemary said, hey, you made some good reads, but now it's time for me to open up a book too. And I gotta say, that was great.
All right. So now what we have here is Incineroar again threatening Fake Out. I don't think Gabby's going to bluff it this time. I think it's actually going to come out. Rillaboom is in a very not in a great position. I would not be envious of the position Rillaboom is in right now. It's staring down two fire types, both of which can threaten it for immense damage. We do not see the Fake Out. If Raging Bolt brings a Thunderbolt into the Calyrex Ice here, it could take it out. We got a Flare Blitz burn on the Rillaboom. That is crucial.
No.
There's a Thunderbolt into the Calyrex Ice. So Gabby decides to not play it safe and does not go for the Fake Out into the Raging Bolt. She pays the price and loses her Ice Horse. And now, I think it's possible that Raging Bolt, in the face of an Incineroar and a Pelipper, as a Terra Water Pokemon, it could take this game home.
It's looking pretty good. Looking a little rough in the first half, I ain't gonna lie, but now we're here.
Now we're here, and Raging Bolt has really turned this game around, picking up two crucial KOs with really strong Thunderbolts. Out comes Pelipper. It's going to set the rain back up, but that's actually going to lower the damage that Incineroar's Flare Blitz is doing. Yes. I don't think it'll have a problem picking up the Rillaboom, but it's going to rely on knockoff to hit the Raging Bolt. And after the first one removes the safety goggles, all the rest of them are just going to hit for for reduced damage.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Raging Bolt is threatening to take out the Pelipper in one shot with a super effective Thunderbolt. Rillaboom, don't have to worry about it too much. It's burned. It's got maybe it could get a cheeky Woodhammer in on this Pelipper or something. I think it's going to be Raging Bolt versus the world.
Yes.
And we were talking about Raging Bolt as that extra restricted. I think it's about to show us what those stats can do.
Yes, sir. But we do see the Protect coming from the Pelipper. Obviously trying to keep this thing in the game for a little bit longer. Knockoff, not a bad choice. Getting rid of this item here, which means, well, not too much. I don't think it did too much, but we did some damage.
Oh, my goodness.
Huge.
Oh, and it does almost half HP.
Wow.
This must be a really seriously specially attacking Raging Bolt. And these Thunderbolts have been predicted around Gabby's Protects all game.
Yes.
And despite the Incineroar outspeeding the Raging Bolt, I think that barring a Hurricane Confusion from Pelipper, Raging Bolt might just be able to take this one home.
Yeah, I'm actually starting to see a reality that maybe this Rillaboom doesn't even leave the table either. But that's a little close, right?
I don't think it matters too much. This Rillaboom's kind of just sitting there. It's burned. It's asking, somebody get this thing off the road, you know?
Hey, chip is chip. We'll take
There's
it.
a little Grassy Glide chip. Here comes a Hurricane. I think that Gabby's win condition here is getting a Confusion off of this Hurricane. And there it is! So this Raging Bolt is going to be rolling dice the rest of the game. Parting Shot coming out in an effort to reduce the damage that Raging Bolt does.
That's huge.
Let's
What
see
a
where this
play.
Thunderbolt goes into, if it even comes off.
Is it
Here's the
gonna come
Confusion
off?
from the Raging Bolt. 30% chance to hit itself.
Oh, it
Thunderbolt
did. It
comes
makes
out,
it through.
takes out the Incineroar. And now we have a good old-fashioned Thunderclap mind game. Who's ready?
I'm so not ready, actually. What a reversal. This Confusion could be huge in this situation, but Rillaboom not doing that much damage to a Pelipper in the rain. It's just not looking good right now.
So let's break it down here. Thunderclap is threatening a one-hit KO on Pelipper. The Raging Bolt has to use Thunderclap in order to outspeed the Pelipper because at the moment, it looks like it's in range of a second Hurricane taking the KO. However, every turn it attacks, it's risking hitting itself in Confusion. So the question is whether or not Gabby decides to protect. It doesn't look like she chose. It doesn't look like she chose to protect. So the Raging Bolt's going to get its own Protect off. Pelipper went for the Hurricane into the Raging Bolt. It's going to land into the Protect. Rosemary could have won there with a Thunderclap, but that would have also been playing it risky because a self-hitting the Confusion would have put it into Hurricane range. The Woodhammer from the Rillaboom does not take out the Pelipper. Rosemary, very fortunate that Grassy Terrain Healing is applied before the burn damage. Otherwise, this Rillaboom would be completely done. And we do see the grass disappearing from the battlefield, so the amount of health that this Raging Bolt is at will stay there for the rest of the game. And Pelipper, I think, is going to have to survive this Thunderclap. Will Raging Bolt hurt itself? Thunderclap comes out, and Rosemary Kelly takes game one against all odds. What a comeback by Rosemary. Oh, my goodness.
This is what we're here for. This is what we came to see.
That was the first game of the day, and that had more ups and downs than a roller coaster. Oh my
man,
goodness.
That's so good, man. It was looking really tough in the beginning, but somehow we found a through line, and we're able to make that clutch comeback in the end there. And now Rosemary's sitting here with the 1-0 advantage.
Rosemary
Yes, sir.
doing an incredible job of finding her out, playing to that one way that could win the game. And Gabby, after playing ahead of the game so well,
absolutely.
bluffing fake outs, manipulating those trick room turns, decides to leave her Calyrex Ice unguarded. And those extra Thunderbolts that came out from the Raging Bolt, I'm not sure she knew how much damage those would be doing.
It was a lot of damage.
It ended up being a lot of damage.
137.
137. You got that number down. You got that number memorized. And it really showed up. And I think this game, it'll be interesting to see. I would be surprised if Gabby changes up the Pokemon she's bringing. I could see a Amogus coming out as a matchup into that Raging Bolt in order to redirect those strong Electro-type attacks.
Yeah.
But I think Calyrex is definitely going to stay out on the field. I wouldn't be surprised if Incineroar, and I think Pelipper's got to come as a way of manipulating that weather, even if Groudon doesn't come. But I think the change that Gabby's going to make this upcoming game is to be a little bit more defensive with that Calyrex Ice, using that fake out a little bit more, buying those free turns, just getting those Glacial Lances off, and I think getting up a second Trick Room is going to be the key to her winning this game.
The Trick Room was what gave you the momentum in the first game in the first place, right? Look at how much damage they were pushing out, just simply being able to take the initiative, take the first attacks. It was just a lot to keep up with. But I do want to say, it's pretty interesting. Wait, did we just bring in Drono?
I think we did.
Oh, we locked it in. Let's go.
I think we locked it in. Rosemary is once again locking in without Groudon, so the Raging Bolts is going to serve as that de facto restricted Pokemon. I also think that Raging Bolt in this Calyrex Ice matchup is going to be that Trick Room target. And I just said that possibly Gabby could consider bringing the Amoonguss to help with the Raging Bolt. I take that back. I forgot that the Raging Bolt has that safety goggles. That's a team choice that's probably keeping Incineroar on the bench, and I think that's really helping Rosemary out in this matchup. And we're vibing here to some Gen 5
yeah,
bops.
absolutely vibing. This is a bop for sure. I'm so glad they chose this.
This is the Swords of Justice.
Yes,
I can see
sir.
myself in my I can see myself in my room with my DS trying to spamming dust balls at the Cobalion. It keeps Sacred Sorting me. My Excadrill went down. My Galvantula's going down. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just hoping this next Ultra Ball is going to catch the thing.
Please do it.
All right, we got turn 1 here. Rosemary switching up her lead. We got a Rillaboom and Urshifu. That classic Fake Out plus Wicked Blow threaten that can really just do a lot of damage right away, and you can't protect in front of it. We see a Terra here coming out from Gabby. I think this Calyrex is turning into a Fire type.
It worked out so well the first time around. Why not do it again? Hey, man, it worked. Let's see how much it will mitigate in terms of damage here now. Because, well, first of all, we have to respect the fact that we're not taking double the damage from a Wicked Blow. That's very important.
The Fake Out actually goes into the Rillaboom slot, and we see that the Rillaboom on Rosemary's side does not decide to go for the Fake Out. Instead, we get a little Wicked Blow, doing some chip onto the Calyrex, and Trick Room going up. So we're at a similar spot right now. We've got a Trick Room up, we've got Calyrex at about 70% of its health, and then we got a Rillaboom and an Urshifu at full health on the other side. How can Gabby make the most out of these Trick Room turns, Naeem? What do you think she's got to do?
Honestly, I think you just got to start putting on that pressure. Parting Shot is actually not bad here. There's no house support, so now we can just reduce the attack stat on this Urshifu a little bit more. I mean, it is a critical hit, right? So it will do a significant portion of damage, but we saw how well Calyrex was taking those Wicked Blows in the first round. So is it really going to be that impactful, especially after a -2? I don't think so.
I agree with you, and I think once again Calyrex is in a fantastic position to start throwing off Glacial Lances.
Yes.
We'll see here if Gabby decides to double into the Urshifu this time. Last game she left it around and it was able to get off another couple of Wicked Blows. I wonder if a double up from Glacial Lance and Flare Blitz is enough to take it out.
There we go, Grassy Glide going into that Incineroar. Not doing too much, but now, oh my goodness, we got a one-hit knockout!
Oh, Rillaboom
going down!
Rillaboom, please come to the party. I have baked a 252 plus Glacial Lance for you.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's hot and steamy, brother.
There's a parting shot, and we'll never know if Flare Blitz is enough to do that last 79% damage to the Urshifu. I think if it does and it takes the knockout, then this game might be pretty squared up. As things are, we have Urshifu still on the field. It's about to launch an attack. There's the Amoonguss. That's a change. Close combat into the Amoonguss. What a switch in after the parting shot and the close combat. That is doing next to nothing.
Nothing at all, bro. You heal him. Look, you're about to get the HP back right now.
We're about to get the HP right back up. And I think the Amoonguss is such a great play because even if that Raging Bolt comes out here, as it's going to do, even if it is going to Terra Water, as it has to in order to not lose to Glacial Lance, yeah, Amoonguss isn't going to be able to spore it. But what it can do, it can Polypuff. It can Pollen Puff the Calyrex.
Yes.
And that's going to keep it at full health so that despite the amount of damage that Thunderbolt was doing, and we saw it last turn, Thunderbolt does a lot of damage to this Calyrex Ice, but Pollen Puff can restore that health and make the Calyrex unable to go down from these strong moves coming out from the Raging Bolt.
Maybe starting to feel the slight effects of not bringing in that restricted Pokemon on your side. You see a big difference in stats here. It's a little hard to make up the difference, but it is a Raging Bolt.
That's true. That's true. And Rosemary's trying her best. Here comes that Terra Water. You're so right, though, that Calyrex can just stat check so many things with 100 HP, 150 defense, 130 special defense. Absolutely disgusting. And I didn't even say its highest stat, that 165 base attack.
Shaking my head.
Here's a Rage Powder coming out from the Amoonguss, trying to redirect any possible Sucker Punch or Wicked Blow. It's not going to be able to redirect any attack coming from the Raging Bolts because of those safety goggles. Glacial Lance is going to come out. Remember, it's at +1 now. Raging Bolt's going to take a pretty significant chunk of damage. Thunderbolt coming out. It's going to do some damage into the Calyrex Ice. And it's definitely going to stick, but that also can just be pollen puffed away.
man. That Amoonguss took 1 instance of damage and it's already back to full. That's ridiculous, man. It's so good. Maybe this grassy terrain is not as helpful as we want it to be.
I think the grassy terrain is helping Gabby more than it's helping Rosemary at the moment, because you're getting all this chip heal from the Calyrex, that all the damage that you're fighting tooth and nail for, these wicked blows, these thunderbolts, that they're just not sticking as well as they need to.
Negated. Yeah, it's not good.
And like you said, the close combat that went into the Amoonguss, that's gone now just because of the grassy terrain. So this passive healing is really helping Gabby because she's got the bulkier Pokemon right now. And I think Calyrex can just keep throwing out these Glacial Lances. Amoonguss can keep it healthy with Pollen Puff. I think this Urshifu is not long for this battle. Next turn, we're going to have Fluttermane and Raging Bolt in this last turn of Trick Room. Chilling Neigh with another boost. This Calyrex is snowballing out of control. There's the Pollen Puff. Going to heal right back up, even if this Thunderbolt goes back into the Calyrex.
All right, hold on. That was a little bit too much HP. Hold on, that was a little too good. That was a little too good.
All that precious damage that Rosemary was fighting so hard to get onto that Calyrex, just wiped away by the Amoonguss, showing the power of this little supportive mushroom, even when it can't spore. Even when it can't use the move that it's so well known for, it can just heal up its partner. And the Calyrex, even though its Glacial Lances aren't very effective, it was at +1, now it's at +2. Fluttermane can't protect. It's looking pretty strong right now.
That's a game 3 to me. Look, you already made me go negative on 1 turn with that close combat. That was like 6 turns negative, bro.
Yep.
That heal was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
There's another Pollen Puff. I mean, what else is the Amoonguss going to do, right? The Fluttermane's going to go down. It can't really touch the Raging Bolt. It's just letting Calyrex throw out this immense damage. And now it's at 14 health. This Thunderbolt's going to go back into the Calyrex. But once again, the health from Pollen Puff, it's not a 2-hit KO. Oh, instead we have a Draco Meteor coming out. That's less than half. Oh my goodness, this Calyrex is just ridiculous. Trick Room's going to end, and Raging Bolt's going to be the fastest thing on the field. But I think Calyrex has done its damage. We're going to a game 3.
Definitely a game 3 here in this situation. I would definitely give myself a little bit more time to think it up. But hey, you know what? It's not just that Calyrex.
True.
That Amoonguss is a top tier threat for a reason. Look at that healing, dude. That was too much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think Gabby, with an exceptional recognition of what she had to change up in that game, just being able to support the Calyrex even more. Because as a Groudon player, when you run Groudon Raging Bolt, you're already stacking ice weaknesses. Then you throw in a Rillaboom there. You throw in an Urshifu that's not the water type, so it doesn't have a resist. You throw in a Fluttermane with its negligible physical bulk. And what you end up with is not a single Pokemon that is resistant to ice. And when you have that, and you're facing down a Calyrex Ice and Trick Room, you could be in for a long game.
It's a long game indeed, but I gotta say, not bringing that Groudon the first couple of games, is it the mix-up you need? Is it the advantage you want to bring in?
I think if Rosemary had an easy way to deal with that Pelipper, the Groudon could be coming out. But the problem with Groudon is that not only can it not deal with Pelipper, but it can just get spored by the Amoonguss if it's under Trick Room. And you're not going to be able to deny Trick Room against this team. You're just not. The Calyrex Ice is too bulky. With the Amoonguss and the Incineroar, there's too much support. There's too much redirection. It's just not going to be able to stop it from going up.
And that range is damage mitigation after damage mitigation. Also having the option, if you really wanted to go into Amoonguss with that water typing, with the terrestrialization. Obviously, it's been working really well with giving Calyrex that fire typing. Not taking double damage from Wicked Blow. What are you doing? And even after that damage reduction, or getting rid of your weakness, rather, it was not doing enough damage with that Wicked Blow at all. It's just not a position you want to be in.
Yeah, if Wicked Blow is not a 3-hit KO, then you're just in trouble, especially with that grassy terrain providing chip heal. The Calyrex is just not afraid of what should be a stab, super effective critical hit. And if that's the game that Gabby is playing, then just being able to eat those Wicked Blows, heal up with Pollen Puff, Rosemary has to find a way to take out that Calyrex Ice. And I think Gabby's just got to play in a way where she doesn't let that happen. So we'll see who gets what they want. It's Game 3 coming up. Will the Calyrex Ice just steamroll again? Or will Rosemary, as she did in Game 1, find a way to make that damage stick and take it out?
Closer. Okay. Hey, I'm here. I'm alive.
All right, here we go, game 3. Let's see what leads we got. Gabby, once again, for 3 out of 3 games, we've got the Calyrex and the Incineroar, and Rosemary going back to the Gouging Fire and the Urshifu. I said that Rosemary doesn't have any ice resist. Gouging Fire is no resist, but it's a pretty bulky Pokemon. Neutral Glacial Lance. It's one of the few Pokemon that's not super threatened by it as a neutral hit.
I gotta say, I really like bringing back in this Gouging Fire because of that house support. It really did a decent amount for you in that first game. It was able to get you some advantage, and maybe that's what you need again right now, which we see locking that in right now as a choice for this Gouging Fire.
And look at that. As Naeem mentioned, we have Groudon in the back. Always expect the unexpected. So Groudon is in the back, and that's important because as we saw in Game 1, this Gouging Fire and Urshifu have a really awkward speed interaction. When we're outside of Trick Room, we don't get any, we're not able to get the Howl onto the Urshifu because the Urshifu outspeeds the Gouging Fire. This is going to change. The Sun is going to switch that up. Now Gouging Fire is going to get its speed boost. Here comes that garish yellow Groudon. And it's going to get this attack boost from the Gouging Fire because the Fake Out is not going to be able to stop it because of the Covert Cloak. Now, if Rosemary sees this coming and goes for a Glacial Lance, then Groudon is not going to be a happy camper.
At all.
But that said, Groudon tanks it, and it's going to be outside of Trick Room. Calyrex Ice Terra's Fire, but now it's weak to Precipice Blades.
Sir. Here comes the Blade out in the scene. Of course, we're going to get that beautiful attack buff for both of these Pokemon. Such a great buff for that.
Now, interestingly, the Incineroar does not go for Fake Out, but it does go for Parting Shot into the Groudon, or into the Gouging Fire. If that had been into the Groudon, it would have failed, and Incineroar would have been stuck on the field. Now, we see if Gabby brought Pelipper. Because if Gabby brought Pelipper, this Groudon is in for a really long day.
Here it comes.
And if Gabby did not bring Pelipper,
it's
a Mungus.
Hey, this is the mix we needed to get the advantage, and the Trick Room comes up.
Trick Room comes up, so we have a Mungus under Trick Room, but now the other weak spot of Groudon is going to come in because it cannot avoid Spore. However, the Amoonguss can only Spore one of these Pokemon.
That's true.
Gouging Fire is at +1 attack.
Yes, sir.
If a Flare Blitz goes into the Gouging Fire, or if a Flare Blitz goes into the Amoonguss and the Spore finds a Protect, we could be looking at a very different game. Here comes the Protect. Where is the Spore going into? The Glacial Lance comes out. We're going to see Gouging Fire's physical bulk on display here. Also important to note that the Calyrex is slower than the Amoonguss as it moves first on the Trick Room. There's the Glacial Lance. Where does the Spore go? It's into the Gouging Fire. What a play by Gabby, predicting the passive Protect from the Groudon. Heat Crash into the Amoonguss would have taken it out, but now it can just go for Spore. The Gouging Fire still has to take a mandatory turn of sleep, and Groudon might have to Terra Fire just to avoid being taken out from 2 Glacial Lances here. Rosemary's in a really tough position, and it's all because Gabby made a fantastic read and spored into the Gouging Fire.
It was a tough 50-50 to make. Of course, you could have just clicked on Precipice Blades, and that would have been a really big punish here. But do you have that call in you to make right now when you feel on the back foot? Of course, in that position, you'd want to protect. You'd want to be safe. I don't want to risk a loss here because I need this Pokemon.
Groudon gets the double protect. Hold on a minute.
That's important. That's important.
Glacial Lance.
All right, so this is going to do some damage again to this Gouging Fire, but it's going to be able to take that decently well. We're going to be still on the board. Spore
goes into the double protect.
Yes, sir. But now we shrug off a turn of sleep. So what is it going to be next turn? Do we go for the triple?
Yeah, you know, the problem here is that the Gouging Fire had to take that mandatory turn of sleep, and it's now in range of being just obliterated by a third Glacial Lance. The Groudon, even if it goes for Protect, it still can't avoid. It can't do anything this turn. It's either going to fall asleep or it's going to Protect. And the issue there is that it still has to take a mandatory turn of sleep. So I think that Rosemary is identifying the right play here. If you Terra the Groudon, then it can eat a Glacial Lance. It can also eat another. It can also eat whatever happens on the subsequent turn, and then maybe it wakes up outside of Trick Room. But going for the triple Protect, that's a little risky. Because if the Protect fails, as it will, then after Groudon falls asleep, it's going to have to take a single turn afterwards. Whereas if Groudon had just absorbed the sleep and gone for an attacking move, it would have possibly stayed alive. But we see a Pollen Puff. What is this? Gabby doesn't go for Spore.
This is definitely a calc. This is definitely a...
Oh, the Groudon lives!
No way! He survived! This is huge. Rest of his blades. Don't miss now! Don't miss now!
The Amoonguss does not go for Spore, but because Groudon went for the Protect, it's not going to be doing any damage this turn.
No way. What timeline is this? Where are we right now?
Oh, so now it's the last turn of Trick Room. But even if Groudon gets a Protect up, Gabby can just pivot in the Incineroar freely and go for a Glacial Lance. I think we're in a very difficult spot for the Groudon. It's going to have to Protect here, but... Oh, if Gabby... I think the triple Protect was such a dangerous play. It's so unlikely to get. And Groudon clearly had, I mean, not clearly, it was very close, but it has the ability to survive that double up from the Glacial Lance. Here comes a Protect from Urshifu. Calyrex is going to go for a Glacial Lance. It's nothing doing, but I think a Fake Out in a Trick Room here, and we can be right back where we started.
How do we play around this Fake Out? That's going to be key here. Maybe Groudon does something for us later on. Sunlight has also faded. Do we switch and switch back out? I gotta say, I don't think Pelipper's in the back because maybe that would have come in a lot sooner.
I think you're right. I think Pelipper would have had to come in if Groudon was on the field. So I think Rosemary made the right choice, kind of bringing Groudon, trying to get a little cheeky with the move switch, or with the Pokemon switch. But I think what happened here, we have kind of a similar situation as we did in Game 1, where a Trick Room from Gabby would have effectively ended the game. But now what we'd have is I don't think Gabby is going to play as passively. I think she's just going to go for the Fake Out, guarantee that Trick Room, and try to get that Calyrex Ice moving.
And that Trick Room was the entire crux of the set and so far. Here comes the Fake Out, okay. Wicked Blow going to go in, just not nearly as much as you would want. Not even a 2-hit KO again in the same situation as we started.
No, and
that momentum gone.
What we see again is this Calyrex Ice being too bulky. Now, I do wonder here if, once again, we're in the position where will Glacial Lance and Flare Blitz double up and KO the Urshifu? Because again, if it does, I think Gabby has this matchup in the bag. What I wouldn't be surprised to see here is a little of that Incineroar pivot magic. That instant Amoonguss special. You switch the Calyrex Ice for Amoonguss, you Parting Shot, you get the Calyrex in on the other side, you avoid the damage, and then you can Pollen Puff it back up. So we'll see where the targeting is going to be. I see Rosemary going for that Terra Water on the Raging Bolts, as it has to in order to avoid just getting blown up by Glacial Lance. And we'll see. It doesn't look like Gabby went for any switches, so we'll see where these moves are targeting, and we'll see if anything lives.
Very big turn coming in, guys. Here we go. High horsepower.
Goes for the high horsepower into the Raging Bolt. That's not going to do it. There's a Thunderbolt, and I wonder if a Wicked... Oh,
it's against the Paralysis! Oh, no way! The Paralysis coming in, 10%. I'm going to survive that one, too. I don't mind losing the safety goggles. Maybe I do, actually.
Is this Wicked Blow going to take out the Calyrex?
No! Oh, my goodness, that's too close. But Paralysis is so important here because now this is a potential turn that you just lose. Oh, man, what is this game? This is our first round?
Oh, Calyrex is hanging on by the reins of Unity, just living at 1 health. But now it's paralyzed, and a combination of Thunderclap and Wicked Blow can ensure that it doesn't get any damage off. So is Gabby going to be able to pivot successfully? There's a Thunderclap. Okay. Calyrex is gone.
There it is.
That's the main source of damage on Gabby's side of the field. It is finally fainted, and now we'll see if what she has in the back has enough damage output. Keep in mind that the safety goggles have been knocked off the Raging Bolt.
Oh, yo, are you kidding me?
Burn? No.
No, burn, and we're still on the board. This is so
There's a close combat into the Incineroar.
Oh,
does not take out after the Intimidate drop.
Intimidate is a huge factor. Just reducing the amount of damage you can take. So huge here. And the situation kept you on board again. But now, here comes Amoonguss back in. What is that final Pokemon? Why don't you want to put them on the board? It has to be the most secret technology I've ever seen in my life.
I wonder if it's that Scarf Urshifu, because you don't want to expose that to the Raging Bolt. But here, you know, we could, Amoonguss has a plethora of options. It can Spore either Pokemon. It can Pollen Puff up its partner Incineroar to restore its health. We have a Thunderclap. It is not going to connect the Incineroar, likely going for a Parting Shot here. Pollen Puff is going to take out the Raging Bolt, and I think this is a parting shot coming out from the Incineroar, so we are going to see what that last Pokemon is. But crucially, the Urshifu makes it out of this turn with its Focus Sash intact. That could come into play in the late stages of this game.
We are dealing with critical hits here, so we could still see some really big damage, but after a couple of reductions, it's pretty close to call. And now Groudon coming in too, it will be definitely faster than this Amoonguss. We saw that.
Oh, it's the Raging Bolt on Gabby's side.
Oh, that's huge.
And a Wicked Blow is going to come out into the Amoonguss, doing just under half. That's might be a blessing in disguise with the Citrus Berry out there. I think, Naeem, do you know how many turns of Trick Room there are left? I've lost count.
We're about to find out right now. Okay, Drought is coming into play.
Drought's actually going to help. Drought's going to help Gabby more than it's going to help Rosemary here because it's going to give the Raging Bolt. It is one turn of Trick Room, and that is a huge deal.
Oh,
so
wow.
Both Pokemon can protect here to avoid the possibility of a Spore coming out from the Amoonguss.
But
will Gabby rotate the Incineroar in to bring Fake Out pressure and force the Groudon to go for a double protect? Or will Rosemary call a passive play?
I mean,
it looks like no, because Rosemary has gone for 2 protects. So Gabby could possibly get ahead by bluffing some damage and then switching into the Incineroar. But the Incineroar is it's risky because the Incineroar is at very low health.
Yes. Okay, we do see the Incineroar coming back in. That's a big decision here. We're going to force that double protect just to get around this fake out. Unless, no, they both went for protect here.
Yeah.
This is a really good turn for Gabby.
It's a great turn for Gabby.
Such a smart decision.
It's easy to play, it's easy to backseat drive with the benefit of hindsight.
Oh, man, say it again, brother.
Yeah, but an attack into that Amoonguss slot could have done a huge job. Snarl comes out as an attempt to break the Focus Sash on the Raging Bolt and take out the Groudon with all 6 of its HP. But now I think Groudon's in a position where it kind of has to double protect. And we also might need a double protect from the Urshifu as well in order for Rosemary to have a chance here.
Sucker Punch could go before.
No, it will not. Sucker Punch will not go before Fake Out.
No,
and I think Rosemary realizes the error. Rosemary realizes that the speed tiers are not going to be working in her favor here. As after locking in moves, she puts her face in her hands. I think we're a free Incineroar Fake Out on the Groudon away from Rosemary taking this game home. Oh, but the Raging Bolt
wait,
out.
If we get this protect, that's looking kind of clean. Hold on. This protect is so huge right now.
From a Groudon. And Fake Out comes out into the Groudon. It did not go for protect. And I think that's going to be the end of the game. Incineroar might go down here, but the Amoonguss can just put the Urshifu to sleep, and the Raging Bolt's at full health. I think Gabby has managed her resources supremely well and was able to withstand the loss of her Calyrex, which I thought was the key to the game. But Gabby was able to keep the Calyrex around for it to do what it needed to do, and then clean up with the Raging Bolt and the support options that she had.
That was such a competitive round 1 to this tournament, man. They were playing out of their minds. Rosemary just barely could touch the ground, but just lost it in the end there. It was just tough.
So close, too. Yeah, Rosemary played an incredible game 1. Being able to weave around that Trick Room, take out the Calyrex, understand when Gabby was bluffing her Fake Out and her redirection, and trying to keep it around, trying to be a little cheeky there. But now Gabby just recognizes her win con, spores into the Urshifu. It's got a guaranteed turn to sleep here, and I think a Thunderbolt and the Pollen Puff is going to seal this game up. Rosemary forfeits, and round 1 of the Balance Patch Regional goes to Gabby Snyder. What a matchup.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. This is so hype so far, and we just got started.
We just getting started.
We just getting started. This is what I like to see. This is why I love this game, bro. It's just so hype. So hype, man. That
was an incredible play. And again, I think one more thing that Rosemary did that was incredible was bringing that Groudon. Game 3.
Yes, sir.
Game 3, bringing the Groudon and calling the absence of Pelipper. Groudon had a chance to do some damage there, but it was the Amoonguss that kept it in check. And Groudon ended up clicking Protect more than it clicked any attacking moves that game. So, you know, it had a chance for greatness, but in the end, didn't quite have the damage that it needed to when faced with that Spore pressure from the Amoonguss.
Such a great match, though, man. But hey, guys, stay tuned. We have more rounds to come. 5 more of them. Just relax, stick around, and we'll be back.